Okay, how's everybody doing? Good? Okay. Everyone's talking, so. Is everyone kind of complete with this, or I'm not sure if you guys are just chatting or still working, so. Chatting's fine, we're talking about the positive things in spirit. I'm going to talk a little bit about the negative things. So we can use this process to clear these negative things that come into spirit. In a certain way, who we are is all this good stuff. Whenever there's negative things there is stuff to clear, but then the negativity comes in also. And we want to try to use the positive things to get rid of that. But part of it is to understand that it's not who you are. So we can pick things up from other people, but the negative powers come in and try to make us, their job really is to strengthen us by challenging us, but they get a little carried away with their job. Okay, so I know, there's certain people in my life, I'm around them, I know afterwards I just feel a little off. And if I was totally clear in that area, I couldn't take that stuff on, so there is my part of it. But understanding that it's not me is a really important part of the clearing. And even if you can get a little separation and then call in the positive spiritual energies, it can really work amazingly well. Okay, but there are demons and entities and the dark angels in the spirit that we can use these things to clear that stuff also. Okay. I know when, a lot of times when I work with people, I don't talk about this stuff because it starts to freak them out, and they start thinking about things they've seen in movies, but usually it's not like that. But that part of a bit of separation. So when a lot of times in spiritual worlds, people say everything is 100% you, and that just doesn't seem to really help people, even though in a certain way it's kind of true. Some years ago, I met this person who was a relationship therapist, and she said basically the 80-20 rule, and I thought, wow, that's a great way to think about it. So you might have heard of the 80-20 rule. I forget what it's called, but at first someone came up with it as a thing in business where they basically said 80% of the generated revenue in any company is created by 20% of the employees. But people took this to apply to all other things, and in relationships it basically means if you have an issue with your partner, that look at it like it's 80% you and 20% them. And I thought, wow, this is great, because thinking it's 100% you is easy to go to beating up on yourself, and that's not what this is about. But it is like the same in here. You want to look at your part of it and clean that up, but understand there's some of it that's not you. I guess purely spiritual, yes, everything is 100% us, but we're not purely spiritual. That's all there is to it. We would like to be, but I don't, even the most spiritual people I've met, they have their body. They have to deal with health issues. They have to go to the bathroom. They have to do these things that are not spiritual. So just try to keep that in mind when there's negative things going on. It's like, here's my part, and I want to clean and clear that up, and there is part that's not you. So this part, asking for these spiritual assistants, can get rid of that part that's not you and help you process the parts that are you. Super important when you can get a little distance between I'm in a bad mood, life's terrible, a little distance between you and that, then it's like, oh, there's the thing I can clear. So I do journal writing every morning, and one of the things I have is worry, and sometimes ridiculous worry. And when I think about it, it is really ridiculous. This is my beautiful daughter here. She is a great kid. And it used to be, she does really well in school, and it used to be if she got below a 90% on anything, I would worry about it, right? How silly. But that process helped me get a little distance, and I started calling the worry blah, because sometimes I'm thinking about things that really there is no need to worry. Like it could have been how to arrange the chairs here. Like part of me would, my self-talk would be worrisome. It's like, how ridiculous, you know. So, and then there are times it's more, so I call it the worry blah and the worry blob. But so I journal write about this again. It's a way to get a little distance between me and that thing, and then, oh, I can clear that worry blah. I can, you know, the blob kind of looks dark in my imagination, and then I can call the light into that and ask for these spiritual things to come in. Okay. Journal writing and meditation are probably the best tools to do. A lot of people have trouble starting to do that, which I understand. I actually started journal writing very regularly when my daughter, at the end of 4th grade, her teacher said she should learn how to type like the right way, which she still hasn't learned to do, but she can type very fast. But over the summer, I got a program for me to learn how to type, because I had been typing like this for, you know, more years than I'd like to say. But so I started learning to type, and at the end of learning to type, I said, wow, I like this. So I started every morning doing journal writing to take up that time, and it's really very helpful. With meditation, a lot of people say, oh, I can't meditate, my mind's all yucky and stuff. Still meditate, even if your mind's chatting the whole time. And I've been meditating pretty much every day for close to 40 years, and some days it is blah, 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 what time it is. I pick up my phone 20 times, you know, and everything else, but still taking the time to do that. Those two things are the most important. Okay. Take a little time to do some journal writing. That would be, so you can go to your next page. Now this can be your journal that you can start. So what I do is I have some things, and I encourage people to have things that you check, okay? And it's kind of checking your mind. So since I'm young, I never slept very much, and I've learned to do better, but that's something I write about first thing. Did I sleep well? Sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night and not be smart and get up and start to do something, and then I have trouble going back to sleep. So I will write about that to remind myself to go back to sleep instead of waking up. The other thing I have is I had a hip replacement years ago, and even though it was like 7 years ago, I still tend to favor, this hip is stronger than this hip physically, but I still tend to favor it. So I'll write about how my posture's doing, and you know, I'll do some breathing and focus on that. And then the other thing is worrying. So I have 3 things I check, like have a checklist of what to journal write about. And then I'll just sit there and let my mind go and trust my intuition about what else to journal write about. It could be about a dream. It could be about something I have to do that day. But journal writing is a great, great spiritual tool. I mean, it is probably, I have a client who's been a client for a long time, and I don't know how long ago, but finally she started journal writing, and she goes, wow, this is really good. And I go, yeah, I've been telling you to do it for years. She goes, yeah, I just never thought it was really good. So, but it's a great, great tool to do. So take a few minutes and just write, and you can journal write about how you're doing now, anything you've learned so far that we talked about, and stuff like that. Okay. So one way I talk about it is like gets my head on straight in the morning, you know, like my intention for the day. A lot of times I'll ask questions of myself, like how can I be in my loving today? How can I be abundant today? How can I be healthy? So, and propose those questions for yourself. There's something in us that almost automatically is looking for what's wrong, like we are designed that way to avoid those things and be safe. So it does take a conscious effort to be setting our intention to be positive. And I do journal writing on my computer, so I like to type. But a lot of people like to do it better by pen, but either way is fine.